In the Rule of St. Benedict, which he wrote in the 6th century, he says that a monk should keep death before his eyes daily. When I was younger, I thought that was rather morbid. But as I get older, I find it's much more easy to do. Don't you who will admit your age have that same experience? Just in the last week, 2 of my friends have died. One suddenly, one not. So death is looming up for most of the people in this room. It's nice to have a few exceptionals. How do we handle this? It's interesting, these two healings that are juxtaposed by St. Mark. The woman comes full of fear and superstition. All she wants to do is touch the magic man, and be cured. The head of the synagogue comes with faith. He trusts Jesus to be able to do this. And I think that exemplifies the way we all probably in the course of our life at one time or another approach this mystery which is death. Because it is a mystery, isn't it? A mystery is something that we have some experience of, but don't completely understand. And since none of us here has yet gone through the experience, it is mystery to us. I'm sure it is not a mystery to those who have passed. In the meantime, we have to live, as Jesus calls us to live, as he said to both of these people, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid, but believe. And of course, as I've said before, that word belief doesn't mean have certain doctrines in your mind. It means trust. It means trust me, trust my Father. And don't kid yourself. People have been agonizing and arguing and thinking about this mystery of death since the very beginning. That was an interesting first reading where the author of the Book of Wisdom is trying to convince his reader that God is not responsible for death. He says it came because we were not living up to what God wanted us to live up to. It's sort of a punishment for our sin. But that's not the truth of the matter. Death is a natural part of created existence. Whether you're a housefly or a human, you are going to end your existence as you experience it now. And we need to face that. We need to not put it at the back of our minds as if we were very young with all those decades ahead of us, because sometimes when we're very young, we don't have decades ahead of us. But those of us who at least have grown into maturity need to honestly face the mystery of death. Not with fear and trembling. With apprehension, yeah, I would say apprehension. I'm apprehensive. But not fear. Because if we really trust in what God has made known to us in the person of Jesus, who we believe has already conquered death in his own person, and will share that conquest with us once we have experienced death itself, then of course that's the person we have to put our trust in. And that's why we gather every Sunday, to hear again the words of life, and to be fed by the bread of life, which is the sustenance of our ongoing existence. I don't know anything about what happens after death. There's all kinds of analogies, there's all kinds of human ways of talking about it, but we're always talking about something that we have not experienced. And so we cannot take literally the analogies that are often given to us. What we need to do is live the life we have at the moment to the depths of our being according to the mind of Christ, because we are Christians, and to place the future in his hands, his Father's hands, trusting that God will treat us the same way as he treated Jesus, whom he raised from the dead. If we love Christ, If we love God, we have no reason to fear death. And if you ever have the temptation to question how much you really love God, be it known that you love God as much as you love the person you love the least.